Going to be starting off today with Canvas Studio, and we know a lot in this grade level have already been using Studio. We've been watching you doing videos for your kids, and we've actually learned from a lot of you, so we wanted to share some of the things that you shared with us. And what we're going to be covering today is being able to access Canvas Studio, how to do that, how to create videos using Studio, how to use collections, and also using it in your is that right? Arce, did I do that right, Ricardo?
The F should be an E.
Yeah, sorry. I'm like, what is that? In the rich content editor. So we'll show you how to bring it into there as well. Okay, and then after that, we're going to be talking about Studio quizzes. And after that, we are going to go into Canvas quizzes. So we do have a packed day today, but lots of great information. So we're going to go ahead and get started right now. Here we go. All right. So here I am in Canvas right now, and hopefully you could see what I'm seeing. And Ricardo, please interrupt me if you're not doing the right thing. Okay. So we're trying to get to our studio. So down here at the left, you can see I have the studio on my navigation on the side. So I click on Studio, and that's where I am right now. All right. And so I'm just going to take you across just to follow in order. So if you are following along, feel free on another screen if you'd like to follow along with us. But if you don't worry, because after I'm done, I'm going to give you a little bit of time to play. All right. So we're just going to start here at the very top left. If you click here, you can click on My Library, and it brings you to your library of videos that you already have here. If somebody shared something with you, you can go to Shared with Me, and it will show you ones that have been shared with you. I'm just going to continue on across. So you can sort them depending on name and date added. So I only have a few, but soon you're going to have lots. So it's up to you how you want to view them. Okay. And then over here, you can view them by collection. So collection pretty much is just like having a folder, and you're putting them into different. So maybe you have videos that are for ELA, and you have videos for math, and maybe you want to put them in certain collections like that. Okay. So you can view that. I only have one collection right there, or you could just view all of them just like that. Okay. I'm going to just go over here to the right. Right here, collection, like I said, is just like a folder. So when I click on that, I can create a collection, and maybe I'll call this training studio. I don't know. I'm just making this up right now. So I can create that. Go back to my library. So here we are. There's nothing in it right now. And let's say I want to put this video, this really fun looking video, and I want to stick it in there. There's a few ways to do it, but I'm going to show you what I do. I click on the three dots, move to, and then I move it to that folder or that collection. So I'm going to stick it in there. I'm going to move it. And now you can see it's in there. Okay. And the great thing about collections is you can actually share the collection. So if I want to share all my videos that I have in here, which is only one, but eventually I'll have more. If I want to share that, I could click on Share Collection, and then I can share it with, let's say I want to share it with Ricardo. And then I can give him the ability to view the videos I have, or even edit. So maybe we're on the same grade level, and I want him to be able to add videos into the collection. I don't want to have to keep sending it out one by one. I just want to go back to this collection, just like a folder, sharing a folder instead of sharing individual files. This is a great way. I could say, can edit, and then you can add him. There you go. And now Ricardo has access to that, and whatever he adds to it, I also have access to that. So that's a great thing that we could use collections for. Okay. All right, let me move on. Actually, let me go into a collection real fast. Just make sure I don't miss anything. All right, so we are actually, I'm not going to touch on this now. We're going to be going over this later on because this is actually a quiz. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later. But you do have the option when you go to actual videos, again, you can share it just like what I did earlier. You can share it via link. You can also embed the video if you want to embed it somewhere. Okay, and then you could see, sorry if you could hear my daughter, she's going to school right next to me, I apologize. And I can move it somewhere else if I wanted to move it. Let's say I change my mind. I can replace the thumbnail. So if that isn't the best look, which it isn't, then I could change it as well. Okay, you have some options there. And you could delete it. And hopefully you won't want to delete it. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my library. So I went all the way across. I was here at collections. Now I'm up here at the top. So if you have a lot of videos, you can search for them. You could search once you have quite a bit in there, and then you want to find a certain video, you have a search function here. You can also add
Okay.
So when you click on this, you have a choice right here. You can add videos from your actual computer. So I had videos saved to my computer that I had done already. So I can add them right here, browse files, and then I just choose it from my computer. You can also paste a YouTube URL right here. All right, so the great thing here is that you don't have to start from scratch. If you don't want to make your own videos, or if you don't have existing videos, you could find a YouTube video that you find really useful for yourself and your students, and you could put the URL here and add it, and it will be added into your library, which is pretty awesome. And so I think Ricardo is going to kind of talk to us about that a little bit later on. Okay.
Just to add to that, the amazing thing about using the YouTube feature there too is that you have no commercials. There's no beginning that gives you a commercial or it cuts in the middle. It's just going to be that YouTube video by itself.
I'm glad you mentioned that. That's perfect, because I know a lot of teachers, especially in this grade level, were trying to use, I think it was SafeTube or Safe YouTube, and then we were having issues with that. So, and I know the whole purpose of using that was because you didn't want the ads and things like that. But if you add it this way, then you don't even need to use that. You can just use the actual link, and it will remove those, just like what Ricardo had said. So if you didn't know that, now you know. All right, so now we're going to get into the fun part. I don't see your faces. Hopefully everybody's still there. All right, so we're going to go right here into the record. So when you click on record, you have a choice between capturing your screen or capturing yourself. So, and you also, when you go into webcam capture, or actually, you know what, let me back up. I'm taking it too fast. So when you capture your screen, of course, you want the students to be able to see in your recording. You're going to record what's on the screen for your students. Maybe you're showing them how to access something, or maybe you're demoing certain concepts that you want them to see. Okay, so I'm just going to go backwards. I'm going to choose webcam capture right now. So if I choose that, then that's it's a different camera over here. So I could just simply start recording just like this, and I'm going to stop that right now because that's not really what I wanted, but that's one option. And here's where we're going to spend most of our time today, or actually most of our time in this section. I'm going to go to screens capture. So I'm going to click on that right now. And if you're doing it, you might want to pause for a moment, and we'll give you time to play after. But if you want to, it's okay. But I hope you don't have any issues because we're all doing it at the same time. All right, so here you can see it says Open Screen Recorder Launcher version 2.0. If you've never done this before, it's going to actually ask you if you want to install it. So if you don't have it yet, I suggest you install it. Okay, this is something that is so useful, and at this point, don't worry, during this training, if you want to be able to play with it, I suggest installing it. No one's going to make you, but don't be afraid to install it. And so even if you install it, it's going to ask you if you want to open it. Okay, so I'm going to go back and show you how I went there. So you would download. Okay, I'm going to cancel right now. So I'm just going to go record, screen capture, open, and for some of you that'll be installed. So if that's what it says, go ahead and install it. I'm going to wait patiently for it to open. Sometimes it takes a little bit. And here we go. So hopefully you could see my screen right now. And what it's showing you is this kind of dotted, this white and black line that goes around. This is what is actually going to be captured during your video. And you can adjust that. You can see if I hover over the top, you can kind of make it bigger. Maybe you want them to see the web address. Maybe you want them to see the actual tabs. For me, usually I just want them to see the video portion down here. It's entirely up to you, so you can adjust those. And if you've ever used Screencast-O-Matic, this is the exact same thing. Screencast-O-Matic and Canvas partnered up together to make this tool for you. So I've used Screencast-O-Matic for a long time. I've actually paid for it, and I've been paying for it, and now it's free, so I can actually stop my subscription, which is great because I have the full version here in Canvas, okay? So I'm just gonna start from here. So again, you can adjust your screen. What I like to do is up here, you have some choices. You could choose just screen. So if I click on that, the students will only be able to see the screen. They won't be able to see you at all. So if I just click on that, then they just see the screen. If I choose webcam, then it will just show me with my other camera because I'm using this one for a Zoom right now. You know that? Or if you choose both, this is what I use most of the time because I want to record my screen, but I also want them to see my expressions and my tone, well, my visual tone, I guess, on the side. And I wouldn't use this camera. I would use the camera I'm using for Zoom right now in the front, but I can't use it because I'm using it with you guys right now. All right, so then after I'm done with that, you can go down here, you can change the size. I don't usually touch that because my size adjusts according to this. When I do that, you can see the size. Okay, narration right here, you want to make sure this is on because I've recorded full videos, completely went through the whole thing. It was the best thing ever, and I didn't have narration on, which means they didn't hear anything I said to redo the whole thing. So when you click on that, you could choose the different microphones you might have on your computer. I have a microphone in my camera. I have a separate microphone right in front of me. There's just my desktop, my Rode. So it's up to you. You can choose which one. And I suggest also testing it out so you could see that it's actually working, okay? So this feature down here, computer audio, that means that it will capture the audio from your computer. So maybe you're trying to demonstrate to your students how to access a certain video, or maybe you want to play a video during your recording. So in order for them to hear that, you have to make sure that that's turned on. If you have the basic version of Screencast-O-Matic, this is not even an option for you. So it's pretty awesome that you have it here inside of Canvas. So you could click on that. You can either say yes or no if you wanted to hear the audio from the computer or not. Okay, some preferences. Oh, we're not really going to go into that. We don't need that today. So if you ever lose this, watch. If it disappears, you just click on the little cogwheel, the settings wheel, and it can come back. All right. All right. So I'm just going to do a test one right now so that you could see what happens, and then I'm going to show you how to put it into your library. Okay. So I'm just going to click on record, and then it just kind of counts off for you. Testing, testing, working with the best grade levels in the whole universe. And we're just gonna see if this works. And I am done. So when I'm done, I'm just going to click on the pause button. And I wanna show you some of your options here. So when you're done, you could actually press record again. And if you press record again, it will just pick up from where you left off. Maybe you needed to pause because you got a little confused, or maybe you just need to change screens, whatever. You could, pause, change whatever you need, and press record again, and it will just pick up from where you left off. You can play if you want to preview it. You can also, right here, if you click on the trash, you can start all over again, which I do so many times. Start all over, or you would say no, and then we're back to where we were, okay? Or if you're actually done, you would click on done. And then now, so if Ricardo does this, for some reason, he doesn't get an error, but I do, but don't worry. So in case you get this error, here's what you do to work around it. Okay, so I'm kind of glad that this error came up. So in case this does come up for you, you know what to do. But there's a high chance that you probably won't even get this error, because when he does it, he doesn't get the error. I don't know, I'm just special today. So if you get this error, don't worry about it. I just X out of it. And I don't make any choices here. I X out of this too. I'm talking a little slower because I know these are steps you're gonna need to know. And now I can just give it a title. So just say test demo, upload. And now it's actually uploading into the studio. So if you saw that error, don't worry about it. X out of it, and then just put it in just like this. Okay, so I'm just gonna click continue, and oh, where'd it go? Oh, here it is, right here. Here's the video that I just made right now. And so I just clicked on it. And so while we're here, let's go over some of these features here. So on the left, you could see you could share this video. Okay, you can do links. You could also do people, like what we mentioned earlier. You could download this video as well. So if you want to download it to your computer, that's fine. You can throw it away, hopefully not. You can watch it. Testing, testing. Oh, it's so annoying. Okay, and you can also, I'm just gonna go straight over here to captions. This is pretty amazing. You can add captions to your video. So if you have students, especially those students who are just learning to read, this is a great thing. They can actually watch your captions as you're doing your video. So this is great practice for them, right? So we just choose down here, we choose the language, request, and we wait patiently, and we tested it out earlier, and it takes a bit, it takes a while. So I'm just gonna show you what it looks like for one that has already done it. So let me see if I can find it. I think it was this one. Let me go here, captions. All right, so for this one, oh, that face. Okay, so for this one, I clicked on that earlier, and then now it says review and publish. So once you see that, you can click on it, and now I can actually see what I said, and you can make adjustments. So I tend to mumble every once in a while. That's not really what I meant to say. So you can go in and you can fix it so that as it displays the captions is actually what you want it to say. Okay, So, oh, actually, I think I spoke pretty clearly. All right, so you can go in, again, you could edit that, and then when you're ready, you can publish it. And let's see if it actually, oops, nope. We'll show that to you later because this is part of our next part of our training. And then when Ricardo goes into it, he'll talk about the captions when we get there. Okay, so let me go back here. All right, so I know that was quick. Okay, so at this time, if you can, in your canvas, go ahead and go into Studio, which is down here at the left. And then from here, we're just gonna give you some time to play around with the features, but I think the thing we want you to play around with most is record. So we're gonna ask you to do something that will help us later in an activity that we're going to do later. We're going to ask you to record, and I suggest doing a screen capture. You could do a web, it's up to you. Ricardo, it doesn't matter, right? So when you do a record, you can either talk about something that you've been covering, or you could just simply introduce yourself. It doesn't matter. Anything you want to record, just play with it. We could always delete it later. And then if you want, we can use that video in a next part when we're starting to create quizzes. Okay, so go ahead and play with it. We're gonna give you, what time is it right now? Ooh, I went pretty quickly. We're gonna give you about 5 minutes to play and we'll be here. So I'm gonna stop sharing screen. You go. So go ahead and take about 5 minutes to play with Studio a little bit. Okay. All right. I do see a question from high school. You are more than welcome to stay. More than welcome to stay. Just letting you know that we have another session going on at the same time with our other Tectoses for grades 3 through 12. So if you do want to hop on there with them, you can. But if you want to stay here, we're covering the same thing. Our activities are just going to be a little bit more tailored to the young ones. So feel free to stay. But just letting you know, because I see you in here and I see a high school question. So, but the question you asked would be great for everybody. So I'm glad that I saw it. We'll address that for sure.
Go ahead, Teresa.
All right. Okay, everyone, the time is up. I'm going to ask you at the very bottom, you see where it says reactions. If you're ready to go, can I get a thumbs up or a clap or a heart or something? And if not, I just want to see at least half of you going, oh, perfect. I love that. Thank you. Okay, I see some of us who haven't responded yet, so we're going to give you about a few more seconds.
Before we go into studio quizzes, is we want you to actually experience what the studio quizzes look like. So if you notice on the chat, we send a link for you to join my elementary class. And Teresa, you can do it too, I guess. That's really, really weird.
Do it too.
And because you should be a student. And what we want you to do is once you join the class, and you don't have to do this, but we want to make sure that you get to see what the students experience when it comes to our studio quizzes. So once you join the class, you should be able to see my home, my virtual Zoom link, and also the modules. And in there, you should only see one thing, something that Teresa created for us. It's a studio quiz that is called Nouns and Verbs. And we want you to just take that quiz. And we're probably gonna give you, what do you think, Teresa? How much time to take that?
The video is 2.5 minutes long, so they'll just go through the whole video.
Okay, great. So we'll give you about 2.5 minutes to take that quiz. So again, if on the chat, we send you the invite, and all you're gonna do is go ahead and join as a student. We are going to remove you at the end, so don't worry about that. We'll take you out. And once you are a student in the class, just go to modules and just go to nouns and verbs and go ahead and try to take that studio quiz that Teresa created for us. Okay, and I'll give you about 2 minutes and 50 seconds, I guess we said. So we'll do that right now, okay? Here it goes. So hopefully you got to experience the quiz, but if you didn't, I want to just show you really, really quick what it looks like, okay? So this is a studio quiz that Teresa created. I'm going to resume. And as I watch what Teresa's explaining, can they hear it, Teresa?
No.
No. Let me reshare again. It's probably because I'm not sharing my sound. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Okay, so this is the quiz that Teresa made for us using Studio Quiz, and we can listen to her.
A noun is a person, place, or thing. So a noun can be hearing yourself, you, or it can be your mom or dad, or it can be a place, like where you are right now. Maybe you're home, or maybe you're at school. Maybe when you go to the supermarket, that can be a noun. A noun can also be a
And
thing.
I'm gonna forward a
So
little
maybe
bit,
something that's on your desk
but
right now.
as
Yeah,
she goes
please
through it,
fast
you'll
forward.
notice that she has
Or
embedded
if you're
questions.
studying, that could also be a verb. Or if your teacher is teaching right now, that is a verb as well, teaching.
And as the video goes through, she has
So how
questions.
about a dog? What is a dog? Is a dog a noun or a verb?
And the question will pop up and you actually answer the question. And when you do, you have the option to rewatch or you can continue. And you'll go through all of the questions.
If you said that the dog,
Okay, so
please
that's
stop.
exactly what it looks like. I did. So let me go ahead and share a different screen really quick, okay? So we're gonna talk about Studio Quiz first today. And let me just open this really, really quick. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so we're gonna learn how we can increase engagement with Canvas Studio Quizzes today, okay? And the purpose of how you could use quizzes or studio quizzes, I find three different ways of using it. The first one is just to emphasize details in a video. I just wanna make sure that the kids are able to pay attention and to be able to stay on task and to be able to basically emphasize details that I want them to remember, right?
Ricardo, are
Create
you
an act.
sharing something? I'm
I
sorry.
am, you can see it?
Maybe
I
it's
can see
just
it.
me.
You
Oh,
can
you
see
can?
it?
Okay, maybe it's just me.
Can everybody see the PowerPoint? Thumbs up if you can.
It's just me then. It's okay. Continue.
Okay,
I
I just
can't
want to
see
make
it.
sure that everybody else has thumbs. Okay, great. So if you wanted to emphasize things, that would be a way to use studio quizzes. Maybe you want to create a active learning environment. You want the kids to be involved, right? I always say that forced to pay attention. So I'm going to have questions for them that they have to answer, right? And finally, you can use the studio quiz as an actual type of assessment that is going to go in the grade book. So when we say studio quizzes, don't assume that it has to be a type of assessment that has to be in the grade book. Again, it could just be to create an active learning environment or just to emphasize different things on a video that we want the kids to pay attention to. Okay, and then a great thing about the studio quizzes is that you can create more than one quiz per video. Okay, so maybe this quiz that I create for my kids that now are learning how to read and they know how to read a little bit, I can use actually type the questions. But for the ones that maybe need pictures, I can use pictures to create the quiz. So I can have two different quizzes on the same video, okay? And we'll show you how to do that, okay? And then finally, how do we get the studio quiz in front of our students? There's two ways of doing that and we're gonna walk through it, okay? The first one, as an engagement tool, there's no score. We can basically put it on a page or a discussion where it's not going to be graded. And we talked about some type of formal assessment in which we can actually create an assignment using the rich content editor to give instructions and actually using the external tool to deploy that particular quiz, okay? So we're gonna show you how we can create a quiz. Let me, this is for the second part. Let me change my screen really quick. I'm going to go here really quick, okay? And I'm going to go to my studio section, okay? And I could go ahead and record a video if I wanted to and do a quiz, but we're gonna keep this simple, okay? I'm going to do it by just adding a video from YouTube, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and go to YouTube and I wanna use Hop on Pop for my quiz. So I'm just going to take the address from it. Remember, one of the great things is that there's no commercials. So I'm just going to take it. I'm going to go back to my studio and I'm just going to throw the link right in here, okay? And I'm going to add it, okay? It's going to go ahead and add the video for me. Hopefully it did it already. Did it do it? I think it did, right? It's this one, the one right here. Yeah, I think it did it, okay? So it's right here, okay? So now I have the video, okay? So now what I can do, how do you tell if it's just a video or if it's a quiz? Notice that this one right here has a rocket ship right on top of it. That means that I've already made a quiz on that one, okay? And then some other ones that I only have videos. This one has a quiz. You can see the rocket ship. That one does too. But on the particular one that I just made right now, I'm going to go in there and then on the three dots, I can click on it and I can say create a quiz. Okay, so I'm going to create a quiz. Okay, it's going to ask me to give it a name. Okay, so let's go ahead and just give it a name. and then pop, I'm just gonna call it that. I can do a description if I want to. And then we have this little option over here, high question markers on timeline for students. Now, in the older grades, I will recommend that you actually turn this on because our students, when they get older, they tend to just skip the video and they know exactly where the questions are. And they try to just skip to where the questions are and they answer the questions without watching the video, okay? So for the little ones, I don't think it's a difference, but for the older ones, I will definitely turn this on so I can hide the markers, okay? But I'm gonna leave it off right now, okay? But the best practice is to hide the marker. Get access, okay, so now I can start watching my video and I'm just going to watch it really quick. And then when I'm ready to put a question, you'll see the little plus sign that pops up, okay? So let me just kind of play the video.
Hop on Pop by Dr. Seuss. Autoplay.
Let me skip a little. There it goes.
Up. Pup. Pup is up. Cup. Pup. Pup in cup. Pup. Cup. Cup on pup. Mouse. House. Mouse on house. House. Mouse. House on mouse.
Okay, and maybe I want to put a question right here, okay? And you see the plus sign right there? I can click on it, okay? And we have three options. We can do a multiple choice, we can do a true or false, or we can do multiple answers. I'm going to do a multiple choice on this one, okay? So this is where the question is going to come up for the kids. So multiple choice, and then my question is going to be, oh, sorry, let me type this right. Pop was in and on a cup. Mouse was in and on. And then my answers right here, it's multiple choice. Best practice for me, I always like to put the correct answer as my first option, and I'll tell you why in a second. House, okay? Maybe I'll put a cup, right? And then I'll add another one, and maybe we'll put a home maybe, right? It doesn't matter, okay? So by doing it this way, okay? My answer is always on A, but I always have the option to shuffle choices over here, okay? So even though my answer is always on A, I'm gonna shuffle the choices, so when the kids see it, it's gonna move them around, okay? The reason why I recommend doing this is because I always, and I don't know if this happens to you, but I'll put the answers and I'll forget to change it to the correct answer, okay? So by always keeping the correct answer as your first one and using shuffle choices, you're always gonna have the correct answer. I don't know if this happens to you.
I'm gonna interject there.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish. So for me, like when I was doing the verb and noun, I purposely didn't do that because I want them to be consistently seeing that noun is on top and verb is on bottom, so that they don't, because it might trigger for them like, oh, noun was on top the first 3 times and this time I think but it flipped, you know, it'll just randomly flip. So for me, for the younger ones, depending on your purpose, I would turn shuffle choices off. And I would make sure it's consistent, especially if they're not used to it. And I would have to make sure, just like Ricardo, I also forget to choose the right one. I had to, when I was creating it last night, I had to go back and double check that I chose the right one. So again, it depends on your purpose. I would definitely follow what Ricardo does once they're, you know, once they're accustomed to it. But if they're just starting and I'm starting with something simple, I would keep the answers in the same place, especially if they're the same answers for every question. So it depends on your purpose.
That's a great point. And now that I think about it, this is more for me than for the kids, just because I make that mistake all the time.
But it's a great thing too. Yeah.
For the young ones, Teresa's correct. And maybe for the older ones, just to make it easier for you so you don't get confused, you can do this, okay?
And it would be a non-issue here because the answers will be different for every question you have here. So it's a non-issue.
Yeah, and then you can do question feedback if you want it, right? Good job, right? Or great job if you wanted to, or you want to give feedback for the other one, right? But this is my question. I have the correct answer. I'm going to save it, okay? So now we have a question that has been saved and it's right there. I'm going to continue. We're going to go to around 111 right now, okay? Just let it play.
All tall. We all are tall. All small. We all are small. All ball. We all play ball. Ball wall. Up on a wall.
Okay, and maybe my next question is going to go here. And I'm going to do one more multiple choice before I change it. And then we'll see. I'll go a little bit faster, okay? Tall, oh, sorry, when I type tall and small, rhyme with, right? And I can, again, I do this, but you don't have to. All, ball, and wall, right? I'm just kind of cup, up, and pop, right? I'm gonna put one more. And then let's go B, three, and three. Okay? And these are my questions and my answers already there. So I'm gonna save it. And then let me show you how you can do a true and false now. Let's continue.
All fall. Fall off the wall. Day, play. We play all day. Night, fight. We fight all night. He, me. He is after me. Him, Jim. Jim is after him.
And maybe I want another question here, and I'm gonna make it true or false. And just the question right here is Jim after him. Just simple, right? And the answer is true on that one. Again, our feedback, we can put it. Let's save. And I'm gonna show you one more question. I'm gonna kind of forward a little bit so you can see it. I'm gonna go just up to here.
Pat, cat. Pat sat on cat. Pat, bat. Pat sat on bat.
Okay, and I wanna put one more question here, and I'm gonna do multiple answers now. So I'm going to click on it, and then my question is gonna be, Pat sat on a hat, maybe, right? And I probably, bat, and I want that to be a right answer. Mouse, maybe. I'll do cat, and I want that one to also be a right answer. And I keep adding, maybe I'll put a cactus in here, okay? And again, our feedback, right? You can shuffle choices, right? We know what the correct ones are. Maybe you don't want to do that for the little ones, and I'm going to save. So those are the type of questions that you have. You have the multiple choice, you have the true or false, and you have the multiple answers. So I'm done with it now. So now it's done. And I noticed that now my video also has a little rocket ship right there that tells me that it's a quiz now, okay? So now what can I do with this, okay? So there's a couple of things that we can do. The first one, if you wanted to just use that particular video or video studio quiz to just emphasize something, you could put it on a page. Let's say I could come in here and I can edit over here. Let me go and edit just to show you, okay? And I wanted to put the video right in here, okay? All I would do, there's no grading, it's just a page. I will go to my plug over here, okay? I will look for studio. It's going to open for me and it's going to show it. I know this is the one that has the quiz. I'm going to select it. And now it gives you an option. It says, do you want to just do the video, which will just be the video without any other questions that we created? Or do you want to do the video quiz embedded? And I want to do that. That's what I want to do. Okay. And it's going to ask you if you created more than one quiz. I only have one. And I'm going to say that's it. And I'm going to say embed. So this quiz is just going to be in there just to capture their attention, for them to pay attention, maybe for them to be engaged. And it's going to be in here, but there's no, you can still see the quiz results, but this is not going to go in your grade book. It's not going to go into your Canvas grades, and you cannot push it into areas if you're pushing different assignments from here, okay? If you wanted to push this as a quiz, what you will do is you actually have to create an assignment. So I will go to assignment. I'm going to leave this right now. I'm not going to save it. But now I actually want this to count, okay? So I'm going to go to assignments here, and I'm going to create an assignment. Kind of confusing, right? Because you think, boy, it's a quiz, but it's actually an assignment that you're creating, okay? I'm going to go to assignment. I'm going to call it Hop on Pop. Now, I don't do it through the plug. Now this is going into my gradebook, okay? I can give the instructions here. Please complete quiz, right? If they're little ones, maybe I want to record my instructions for the students so they actually get to see me and hear what the instructions are for this quiz. But now that I'm ready, now the way you do it, and I don't know if I did 3 questions. I think it was just 4 points, 4 questions that I did. Okay, but now what you want to do is you want to pick external tool. Okay, this is when you want it to count as part of your grade. Okay, so you want to pick external tool. Once you've done that, you want to go find the external tool. And then here you are going to have an option for studio. Okay, and it's right there. And I'm going to click on studio as an external tool. It's going to do the same thing. I'm going to select it. And now this is actually going to count. Notice that I didn't even, here it goes, video quiz embed, okay? Embed, and now this is actually going to count. I'm going to select, it always does that, right? I can, now I can say, you know what? I want this to go to quizzes, and it's already there, right? Because it is a quiz. Instead of being in my groups for assignments or homework, that's completely up to you. I can give it a due date. Okay, I can do until if I want to, and now I can save and publish. And now that quiz is going to be there, but it's also going to appear on you. Now you see how you have the edit assignment settings, and you also have SpeedGrader. You can also see the results inside of SpeedGrader, and it's going to basically grade it for you too. And now you can push that. So there's different uses for the studio quiz. It doesn't just have to be something that is graded. You can also have something just to have the kids pay attention. Okay.
Do we want to give them a little time to maybe create?
Yeah, I think so, right? With the video they created. Yeah, go ahead.
So at this time, because we're going to start on the next topic around 2 o'clock. So, or maybe a little bit before that, we're going to give you a little bit of time to play. So maybe you want to grab something from YouTube. You can also use the video that you might have created earlier when you were playing around, just to play with and kind of practice how to put in questions. We gave some time doing that. Okay, so at this time, go ahead and take, what do you think, Ricardo, about 5 minutes, you think?
I'll put up a timer for 5 minutes, yeah.
Thank you. Take about 5 minutes, just practice creating those quizzes and practicing assigning. I had to assign a few times before I remembered how to do it. Like what the steps Ricardo did, I didn't remember it. Over and over, it's a lot of steps. All right, so go. All right, so hopefully you found that time useful to get to play with Studio a little bit and learn how to put those questions in there. It's just so, it's just a great tool that I think a lot of teachers didn't even know existed. And so like Ricardo, he used a read aloud, which is great. And maybe a simple question at the end, did you like it or not? Just getting their feedback on what they thought about a book. It's as simple as that. So those are really useful things that you can hopefully use with your kids, regardless of their age and grade level. All right, so we're now going to transition something to a related topic. We're going to go into Canvas quizzes, actually, and we do want this to be interactive with you. So before we get started, I think Ricardo is going to add, actually, I think he already published. Thank you. He already published another quiz. So if you go to the course that he just added you to, the same course, Ricardo, what's the name of the course again?
It's Elementary Sandbox. The link is again on the chat if they haven't joined yet. It's Distance Learning Elementary Sandbox.
So if you joined already, it's in the same course. It's in the same place. It's just right under the one that you took for nouns and verbs. It's right below that. There's a new quiz there now. But if you haven't joined yet, go ahead and go into the chat and click on that link, join, so that you could experience this other type of quiz, actually a Canvas quiz that is also very useful. That is not Studio, it's just a Canvas quiz. So go ahead and take some time to do that. Ricardo, I'm not sure how long your quiz is, so you could let us know how long they have.
We'll probably do like 2 minutes, okay? It's called New Quizzes Test. It's the only one you see on the module right now, okay? And we'll go ahead and get started with the Canvas quizzes. So what you saw right now was a sample of a new quiz. And we're gonna spend most of our time talking about new quizzes today. There is 2 types of quizzes in Canvas. The first one is called classic quizzes, and the next one is called new quizzes, which is what you saw, okay? The reason why we're not gonna spend a lot of time talking about the classic quizzes is because Canvas is basically doing away with that classic quizzes, kind of like they did away with the Google Cloud assignments, if you remember. So the Canvas classic quizzes were supposed to go away December 2020, so in about 2 months or 3 months, right? But because of COVID-19, they decided to keep it in there until July 2021. So it makes no sense for us to work with the classic quizzes when it's going to go away. So we want to make sure that we start making the transition to the new quizzes. And in reality, new quizzes provides more options for us when it comes to the type of questions that we can do. I will put a link on the chat that will tell you the difference between the classic quizzes and the new quizzes. You can see some of them right here on the screen, right here, but on the link that I just sent to everybody, you'll be able to scroll down and see the differences between the classic quizzes and the new quizzes, in case you want to know the difference of them, okay? But why would you want to use new quizzes? That's a question that I was asking myself when we were trying to plan this, okay? And I started thinking that we have to remove the stigma of it has to count in the grade book. It does not have to count in the grade book. We don't have to use it as some kind of formative assessment, okay? So instead, as a teacher, I know that I'm always looking for things that are gonna make my life easier and they're gonna allow me to have more time, okay? So I think about it this way, okay? I need Canvas to grade it for me, okay? I don't wanna grade it, right? And I don't have time to do it, okay? So if I get creative with this type of quizzes, I can have Canvas automatically grade it for me, okay? On most of the questions, the type of questions that we have. Okay, so today we're gonna see, we're gonna learn how to use the new quizzes, how to build them, the type of questions that we have. We're gonna talk about reports a little bit, and we're also gonna learn how we can differentiate with Canva's new quizzes, okay? On the settings and also the moderate section on it. And then you probably saw the different type of questions. So let me share a different screen right now. So let me stop sharing this so you can see this. Okay, share screen. Let me go to basic over here really quick. So you saw, to start, you saw a question where the students had to upload a type of image, right? So this is one of the questions that you have. It's called a file upload, where the kids will have to upload something. You also saw something, and I'm shuffling the questions. I wish I had them in order, where the students had to actually fill in the blank. And then because they were little, I wanted them to fill in the blank with something I provided for them, okay? So they had that type of question too. We had states, the one where you can actually order, right? So in alphabetical order, you saw that one too. Okay, let me go to the next one. You saw a type of question where they can categorize. So just send the colors to one side and send the shapes to another side. You saw that type of question. You also saw just a multiple choice, right? Select the odd number. Just a simple multiple choice, which is what most of our questions on the classic quizzes are. You don't have these other options that we have here. You also saw a type of math question. There's two different ones that we're going to talk about. So over here, I wanted them to actually type the number, okay? You also saw the matching, and I made it a drop down, and I'm horrible with princesses and princes, so I'm not going to do it, but they had to match. And you also saw a true or false. And I think that's true. So I'm gonna put true on that one. And you also saw the ones when you can provide some kind of video or a story, or maybe a picture where the students can go and complete different questions for you. Stimulus, that's what it's called. And then you saw the essay that I probably wouldn't use for the little ones, but maybe for a word or two, you could use it. But you saw that one. This is something that you will have to grade yourself. It doesn't grade it for you. And then I think you saw the math one where I come in here. And the way I did it is you probably didn't get 7 times 5. You might have gotten a different question. And I'll show you how to do that with different variables, okay? So this was mine, but you might have been 5 times 5 or 10 times 5 because I was just choosing timetables. And then you also saw more than one choice, where you have more than one choice to select. And then my favorite one, where the kids had to click. So it's like click on Texas, right? So that's something that probably we can use with the little ones. And then we just have to come in here and click where they think the answer is, okay? So those are the type of questions. I didn't answer some of them that you saw. Let me exit the preview. But now we're gonna learn how we make a quiz, okay? So let me show you how to do that. And I know I didn't answer some of the questions. So I'm going to go to my class and I'll show you how to create a new quiz, okay? So when you are in here, okay, you don't do it through assignments. You can do it through modules. It's very weird how you cannot do it through modules. You have to create the quiz before you can bring it in. So you do have on your course navigation an option for quizzes, okay? So I'm going to click on it, okay? And when you click, if you created quizzes, it's going to show you the quizzes. If you've done this before, How do you know the difference between a new quiz and a classic quiz? You will notice that the rocket ship, it's not filled in. That will be an old classic quiz, and the one that is filled in will be one of the new quizzes. That's how you know the difference between the old quizzes and the new quizzes, okay? Just the one of them is filled in, the new one, and the other one, the classic one, is not. But I'm in here, and I want to create a new quiz. So on the top right, you have a place where it says plus quiz. So I'm going to click on it, and you get the options between doing a classic or doing a new quiz, okay? Today we're gonna concentrate on new quizzes. I'll come back and talk about classic quizzes in a second, but I wanna do a new quiz, okay? And I want Canvas to remember that I always wanna use new quizzes. So I'm going to say, remember my choices, okay? And you're gonna see what's going to happen. So this time, I'm gonna say submit, and it's going to give me an option to create a quiz. But what I want you to see is that I told her to remember my options. So from now on, when I go to plus quiz, it's always gonna be new quizzes. I don't have to choose between one or the other, okay? If you don't want that option enabled where it always remembers, you can come in here under quizzes, and under the hot dog or the snowman, you can reset the quiz engine choice. So it will automatically take you back to the default where you have to pick between the classic quizzes and the new quizzes. So again, I want new quizzes, I want it to remember, and I'm going to go in here. So here is my canvas for the quiz, and I'm just going to call it sample quiz, okay? And because we have 12 types of questions, I'm gonna give it 12 points. I wanted to go to my group that is my quizzes in this case, okay? I can tell it to be points, okay? And notice, this is very important. New quizzes is basically an external tool, okay? It's basically an external tool that Canvas acquired, and that's what we are using for new quizzes. I can do the unlimited attempt, but you also have choices to change this on the quiz, okay? And I wanted to assign to everyone. I'm gonna do the due date. It's gonna be the 30th, and I want it to be available until the 30th, okay? And I'm ready, so I'm going to save. I'm not publishing yet, but I'm saving. So now that I did that I created the shell for the quiz, now I have the options to start creating the quiz, okay? If you have created questions before, you will have item banks where you can bring questions in later, and I'll show you how to do that. But today we are going to create straight from here, okay? Up here, you have a couple of options. You have settings, and in here, you have some great options, okay? You can shuffle the questions, so the kids are not gonna get the same questions in order. This might not be a best practice for the little ones, as Teresa said. You can also shuffle the answers. So my correct answer might be A, but for the kid next to me, it's gonna be C or D, okay? You can set it up to show it one question at a time, or to show the entire quiz. I don't want the kids to get overwhelmed, our students to get overwhelmed. So I like to do one question at a time, okay? And I can allow backtracking or not allow it. It's completely up to you. Okay, this is interesting, okay? Someone asked the question before about an access code, okay, about how to create quizzes for different periods, different days, right? So I can actually put an access code that the kids will not be able to access that quiz until I give them the access code. Does that make sense? So that's kind of a great feature to have here, okay? I can have a time limit for all of my students for that quiz, and I'll show you how you can change this for a particular group of students, or maybe just one student, but you can do time limit. This was great when we were actually at school, right, on site. I can filter by IP address, so only the kids that are at school can do it. I can allow calculator for the older ones. I can allow multiple attempts, and I can also restrict student result view, so they only see their score, or maybe they see the score and the answer, and so on and so on. So that's under settings. Reports. Okay, we'll go back to see the reports from the quiz you took in a second, but over here you'll be able to see some really good data on how your students did, which question was easy for the entire group, which one they had trouble with, so you can go back and reteach something that maybe they didn't do so well on, or you can continue to advance in your curriculum because they did really, really well. And then you also have the ability to moderate, okay? So maybe I know that Teresa has an IEP, and I can say, okay, you know what, for Teresa, I want to give her 5 more attempts instead of just 1. And I want to make sure that she doesn't just get 2 hours, she get, I can remove the time limit, or I can give her additional time on top of the time that the rest of the students have received for the quiz. So maybe for this one, So it's just gonna get unlimited time. And the great thing about doing the moderate right here is that it remembers it for all of your quizzes. So you don't have to do it every time. Once you've done it for that particular student, it's going to remember that these settings for that particular student are going to apply on all of the quizzes that you give them, okay? So that's kind of a great tool. But let's go back to building. So when I go to build in here, I can go and add instructions if I want to, okay? And I can just type them in here if I wanted to, but I'm going to start building, okay? So maybe my first question, and we're gonna go in order, okay? I want a category question, okay? So I'm going to pick the category one, and I'm just going to pick maybe choose if the word is a verb or a noun, okay? Kind of that one, if I wanted to do that, okay? And then over here, I'm gonna have my verbs, and over here, I'm going to have my nouns, okay? And then talk, right? Maybe run, okay? And then cat, and then mouse. Okay, and I created it in here. I can add more categories if I want to. I can add a distractor, which we're not going to do, okay? If it's a math question, you have the option to add a screen calculator, but I'm not going to do that. But a simple question right here, okay? Someone asked the question about, can we do drawings? And this type of question, I will find it a little difficult, but what you can do, and I'm going to share this on the chat in a second, okay? But maybe I wanna use an emoji instead. So I'm gonna look for a cat, okay? So maybe this is the cat face that I'm going to use, okay? And I'm just going to take that one right here, copy it, okay? And now in that quiz, let me go back to the quiz, I'm sorry. So now in here, I have a little picture of the cat. And I don't know if it's a good picture, but it kind of helps a little. And maybe I want a mouse, okay? Maybe this is the one that I want to use. Okay, copy. Okay, let me go back to it. Okay, and this could be a way that you could do it, I guess. And then I could do the same thing like talking or running, right? If I look for those, and I'm going to save that. That's the, oh, how many points you want to give it. And I'm going to say just 1 point. So that my first question, that is a category question, is done now, okay? So that one is done. Oh, I'm sorry, I should have put out, sorry, the instructions, right? Choose if the word, I put it in the wrong place. It's a verb or a noun, my fault, or a noun. Okay, that should have just been the category if I wanted to give it a category. So done. So there's my first question now, and notice that we have a little cat and the mouse, okay? The second option that you have is file upload. And maybe on this one, maybe I want the kids to just upload a file for me, okay? So I'm just gonna call it file upload, just so I remember what it was, okay? And I don't know, send me a picture of, I don't know, your favorite, I don't know, movie, maybe, I don't know, I'm just gonna pick that, okay? And then over here, I can say, limit the file number. They can only submit one file. I can restrict the type of file. So maybe I just want JPEG, or maybe I just want them to, but you don't have to do this. I will actually leave it open. So you don't have to restrict them because the kids might send a different type of image in here. So this will be a type of question and a 1 point, so done. So that's the one that does the file upload. You could do it, not just that type of file. You could have done it with maybe a document, maybe a PDF, and so on and so on. Okay, that's your file upload. Okay, now you have formula. So this is, I don't know if I'll do this one really, really quick so you can see it, okay? So a formula, so we're talking about math for me. So let me show you how this one's going to work, okay? So on this one, what I want the kids to do is I want them to actually practice their timetables maybe, okay? So the way you do it, notice over here that whenever you want to use a variable, like an X in this case, I have to use these little guys that are called backsticks. They are right and to the left of the number 1, okay? So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to say, my question is going to be X, okay? I'm just going to do it like this, okay? And I want to do multiplication, okay? So I go to the right and I have the math quill over here, okay? And over here you have your options, but I'm just going to do something simple. Multiply, done. Notice that it enters it for me right there. So X times, and maybe I want to do my 2 tables, okay? So X times 2 equals, Okay, so that's what I want to do. That's going to be the one that I want to do today. Okay, so now I created my little formula, very simple. And over here, I can give the x variables. Okay, I want the x to go from 0 to 10 because I want them to learn the timetables, the two timetables, right? So from 0 to 10, okay? And then what am I doing again? I'm doing times tables for times 2, right? That's what I want them to learn, times 2. And now, for my number of solutions, I just want 10, and I'm gonna show you why I'm doing this, okay? Oh, my x times 2, did I do it right? Undefined symbol, did I do it right? I thought I did it right. Okay, let's see, I did this before, here it goes. So notice now that my x could be a 5, could be a 10, could be a 1, could be a 7. Not every student is gonna get the same question, okay? For some of you guys, it's gonna be x times 2 and the answer x times 5 and the answer is 10. For some of you it might be like 10 times 2 or 1 times 2 or 7 times 2. So it's going to create this question for me for every single answer for the times table, the two tables times 10. Let me show you what that looks like, okay? So done. So if I went in here, notice that the question that I got is 5 times 2 equals 10, okay? But if I go edit, and let me just try a different one right now, and let me do again, done. The question next time might be something different. It did the same thing, but this might be 7 times 2 for you, or 2 times 2 for another kid, or 1 times 2 for another kid. So you're not getting the same question every time. So that's the formula one. I know that one's kind of difficult. Maybe we'll come back in a little bit. You can do matching, okay? And for matching, just simple question. I'm going to do matching, and I'm gonna say just match shape with image, okay? And again, I could use the images from I have two different types. I have the ones that you can use the emojis, and I also have one that works a little bit better, and I'll put it on the chat. It's this one right here, where you can actually find images. So if I wanted to find an image in here, okay, I could search for, I don't know, a ball, okay? And I'll be able to find different images for me. Maybe I should have put soccer ball in there. But when you do the question, maybe I put, again, this is the matching triangle, okay? Triangle, I always say it wrong. And I'm gonna put pizza, because the kids are trying to match the shape with the item, right? Circle. And over here, I wanna do a ball. And let's do one more. Rectangle. And maybe I do this one, maybe I'll do a flag, right? So there's my question where the kids have to match. And again, I'm just gonna save it. It's done, okay? Let's add one more now. And now I wanna do multiple choice. That one's very easy, right? Multiple choice question. Okay, oh, did I miss one question? I think I have to put 4 at least. I'm sorry. There we go. I think I added it by mistake. So there we go, it's right there. So now let's do a multiple choice one. And then the multiple choice, I'm just gonna call it multiple choice. I'm just gonna take you through every single item. Okay, select, I don't know, even number. Okay, and I'll put the answers in here. And again, mine is always the first answer because I like doing it like that. 7 and maybe 9, right? And again, I put it on top, but I can also have the option to shuffle the choices on that one, right? Because that's the way that I like to do it, so I don't get confused. So that one's done too. That was your multiple choice, okay? You also have ordering, right? And maybe let's do ordering, and let's do alphabetical order. Okay, and then maybe I put my answers are apple, sorry, right? Cat, dog, and we can do elephant, okay? And then I have the order like that, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the correct order that I want them to sort them by alphabetical order. And again, I have it all set up, so let's do that one, it's done. So now the kids have to actually move them around and put them in the right order if I want them to do that. Okay, that was your ordering. You also have the essay that I'm not going to do. This is one that you have to grade yourself, but for as they get older, maybe you can do just a quick question, right? How was your day today? And the kids can just type their answer, a short answer, and you will go ahead and grade it. So that's the type of essay question. I think I had one for you before. Fill in the blanks, okay? Okay, and let's do a fill in the blanks, and let's do, okay, let's do, add the missing letter. If I can do this, okay? And on this one, maybe what I want to do, my answer on this one, type the statement. So the statement is just, I'm missing a letter. So maybe this is the one that I'm missing. And I want him to do star. I'm just going to kind of pick this one, okay? And then over here, the kids can have, let me see if I can give you the options in here. Item bank. No, it's not item bank. How come I'm not getting an option for the answer? Huh, weird. I should have gotten an answer. Add the missing letter and then star, and they should be able to add something in here. They should be able to just add an S. Oh, yeah, I'm so sorry. There should be an enter to create a blank. This is what I didn't do. So enter. Right, let me do it again. I'm so sorry. So in here, it's going to look like this. So I do enter. Why is it not doing it? Let me try it again. I did something right. Create a blank space. Okay, and now I'm missing the S, right? In here for star. And what I can do, it's just I want them to just pick a letter. I can provide the word bank for them. Okay, and then they're just missing the S if I want them to. So the S for star if I wanted to do that. Sorry, that one was a bad one for me. Let me keep going. I'll come back and do it if I have to do it. Hotspot is one of my favorite ones. So this is the one that you did the map. And I can see that this one being used with the little ones. Okay, so let's do the hotspot. So maybe I want the students to please choose the verb in the sentence, okay? And maybe I want to do a video of me saying, please choose the verb in the sentence. So they don't have to read it. For the ones that don't know how to read it yet, they actually have you talking and giving the instructions, okay? I'm going to I'm going to bring an image in here. And here's my image that I'm going to use, okay? So here's my image. And now I can say, okay, the answer, I can do a square, an oval, or a polygon, but I want to just use a square. And I wanted to remember to click on the verb, right? So I created the question and I wanted to click on C, okay? And then again, maybe I should have just used the video to say, please choose the verb, right? And now I have it set up, okay, done. So now the kids are going to have to click on C to get the answer correct, okay? That's the hotspot, okay? Multiple answers, we've seen that before, right? But I'll do it really, really quick. Multiple answers. And I can say pick the verb. And again, you could do images if you wanted to. Run, right? Cat, mouse, right? My answer is actually run in this case. So there it is. Multiple answers, and I can have one more in here. And let's do talk, okay? So run is gonna be an answer and also talk, okay? So they have to select the correct ones as multiple answers for this one, okay? I can shuffle the choices if I want to. I can do partial credit with this one. So if they get one right, they get 50%, or it has to be an exact match. So that's completely up to you, okay? That's the multiple choice. And now we have numeric. I'm not gonna go into this one. It's for more advanced students. I think 3rd grade through high school will probably use this one. And you finally have the true or false on this one. Okay, so let's do true or false on this one. Lions roar, right? And you can also do a video if you wanted to on this one as you ask the question, right? And then they have to pick true or false in here, okay? You could do it that way, okay? So lions roar and true or false, the answer is true. I'm gonna say done. And then you will notice that at the bottom, you have something called stimulus, okay? This is one of my favorite tools in new quizzes. I'm going to click on it. Okay, and I want to add a stimulus for the kids, okay? So I have a video over here that is ABC phonics, so I'm just going to use it, okay? And I just found a video from YouTube. It could be a story that the kids are going to listen to. It could be many things, but I'm going to copy this, okay? And I'm going to ABC, okay? I'm just going to call it that. I can put the instructions in here, okay? I am bringing the video in here, so I'm going to paste it in here, okay? And I'm going to say add stimulus. I can do it in here too if I wanted to, for the kids to see it embedded. So let me do insert media. I'm going to put it in here. By default, it selects a proper square for the video to be embedded. I want to embed it. Okay, so it's there. Okay, so now I have this video, okay, a stimulus that I added, and now I can add questions in here. And now with that video, as the kids are watching it, I can add questions, and I have all of the different choices to add questions using the new quizzes, okay? Those are the different choices. Again, you have 11 plus the stimulus that you can use. I just want to show you one more thing before we go back. Let me go back to quizzes. Let me go to the quiz that you did, actually. So let me go, I think it was this one that you did. Just want to go really quick. But I wanted to show you, oh, no reports yet. That's interesting, it should have been there. Let me look it up and I'll share my screen again. Go ahead, Teresa, let me find this really quick, right, Teresa, while you continue. Do you want to give him time to try to create maybe a couple of questions?
Yeah. So everyone, thank you so much for hanging in there. I know this is a lot of information, but a lot of great information, right? So we're just going to give you some time to play a little bit. You did see I put a feedback survey in the chat. I only put it there because I noticed some people were going, because I think maybe some people had seen enough and might come back next week. So if there's anyone who is doing that, we did put a feedback survey over there that helps us so much, so that it helps us prepare for our next PDs. But at this time, go ahead and take some time to play around with. Ricardo could go on forever. There's really so many options when it comes to quizzes, and we didn't want to shortchange you by taking a lot of things out. So he showed you a lot of options. Go ahead and go play with it a little bit, play with the different types of question types that you would use in your class. We'll give you some time. And Ricardo, what was your plan after that?
I was gonna show them the speed grader, and we can show it right now. So this was something that someone actually completed the whole quiz. Notice the score. Questions 4 and 13 are the two type of questions that I have to review. The essay one is one of them, and the one with fill in the blanks, but it will grade it for you. And it will also, once that it grades it for you, you can actually send it into your grades in areas. So kind of a nice thing to have. Just wanted to show you what it looks like when the grading is done for you. So you don't have to be doing this one by one. It actually makes it easier for you. Okay, and I look for the reports right now while you guys are trying to create a quiz. I wanted to mention one more thing. I know a lot of us use the Commons a lot. It's such a great resource. And some of us might be bringing quizzes that are already created from the Commons into our courses. Something that I wanted to mention is that, again, how do you know if it's a new quiz or a classic quiz? The new quiz has the rocket ship that is filled in. The old quiz, it's not filled in, but maybe you bring an older quiz, a classic quiz, but you want to use it with the new quizzes, okay? So once you brought it in, if you go all the way to the right, okay, where the little hot dog or the snowman is, notice that if I click on it, you have the option to migrate. And by doing that and clicking it, this particular quiz becomes a new quiz. So let me do it with this present progressive retake, okay? I'm just going to migrate it. You're going to see that I'm migrating that quiz. So it's not longer going to be a old quiz, it's going to be a new quiz. At the bottom right here, I'm going to have it now, and it's going to be filled in. So now this became a new quiz. So I'm never going to lose it when classic quizzes goes away. I brought it from the Commons, and now I migrated it into being a new quiz, okay?
That's a great, great thing. I know teachers are going into Commons and looking for material, and they are mostly the old one because they didn't transition yet. So I'm glad you mentioned that. All right, so we're going to go ahead and go into the document and answer some of the questions, even the ones that we answered there, since there are not very many.